March the 8th, 1908 was a life-changing day. 15,000 women took to the streets of New York and marched, all in the name of equality. 100 years on, my name's Heidi Cole, and I would like to welcome you to the 10th Annual Women's Wybex exhibition held here at the Burj Al Arab here in Dubai. It recognises the extraordinary achievements of ordinary women across the globe who, through their sheer determination and courage, are changing the history of women's rights and also opportunities in the business world. Some of these incredibly inspiring female world leaders, we chatted to some of the visitors to find out the challenges they face on being businesswomen in the Middle East today.
Unfortunately, still women still need to prove themselves much more than men. They need to work 3 times harder to actually achieve the same position, which is still, it's a very big sorry for me. But I think in the end, what I've learned to do is to accept who I am, to do the job no matter what, and not to sulk. Because if you start sulking, then you've lost the battle. I think it's very important that you know who you are, that you become on top of your subject, that you know absolutely what you're talking about, and then people will respect you and they will notice you.
One thing that I found personally as the most challenging thing is to not live up to what other people expect a woman in a male-dominated world should be like. What you spoke about, the balance between the male-female and bringing in the relationship level and really just being true to yourself and staying true to yourself consistently, not living up to others' expectations, that's the biggest challenge.
There is always a challenge, wherever you are, but I haven't faced that kind of trying like to prove myself. But yes, as a woman, sometimes you have to do a little bit more effort to prove that, yes, you are serious and you're in business, you're not just a woman.
I think one of the challenges could be balancing work and family. In general, I could say that it depends on the woman herself, whether she can prove that or not, and organize herself to be a perfect woman, a woman at home, and as well a successful leader at workplace.
Now, from businesswomen to real innovators and leaders of companies, we found out what they had to say.
Shamsa, being the CEO of Forza and being a female-only company, do you think it's able to remain balanced without men in the workplace and men taking part of the decisions?
Well, all the outside world is well balanced enough, so I don't see why Forza has to be balanced. But no, I feel a fairly good sense of balance. I think women that we've hired are well balanced, so it's going on quite well.
Sure, okay. And tell us about what your company has to offer and what is unique about
Well,
your company.
Forza is the only women's investment company that focuses on women investors, women entrepreneurs with specific entrepreneurial opportunities that Forza would offer, as well as on management, women management. So we've just introduced, for example, the Forza INSEAD Executive Management Program, which is exclusively offered by Forza in the region. These are the kind of programs that we can do as a women's company. So we're very unique in that sense.
And what is the unique expertise that you can offer?
Investment. We have a fabulous pool of talent, women who come from very deep investment experience, who are managing the funds and are going to be continuing to invest these funds into highly lucrative investment opportunities.
That's wonderful. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm here with Huda Barakat, the managing partner of Al Tamimi & Company. Hi Huda, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Can you tell us what makes a good female leader of a company?
I think, to be honest, they're the same traits as a good male leader, which is vision, strategy, thinking about growth, and really caring about the people that you are leading.
Yes, and what do you think specifically women can bring to the role of leadership?
It's a very difficult question because I think we're not here on a male bashing event at all. It's I think women women's style of management is very different, and style of leadership, I think, is different to men's. And I think both have a role and a place, and it's really trying to take the best qualities that you can and use those, whether you're a man or a woman. But I think women have compassion. Women do tend to listen. But no, I think both can be very good leaders. And really, this forum is just here to say that yes, you can. Just as you can have a good male leader, you can have a good female leader.
We're going to take a short break now, but when we come back, we'll be talking to some highly influential female world leaders. To the 10th Annual Women Achievement Awards held at the Burj Al Arab here in Dubai. If you've ever wanted an insight into the minds of some of the female powerful world leaders, it's coming up for you now. Dr. Ektegar, can I ask you, there's been a lot of attention drawn to women leaders and businesswomen across from this region. Do you think we'll see a lot more of this? And if so, does this mean that attitudes are now finally changing?
I think that means that attitudes are changing very much, but more important, it means that women in those higher levels of decision making, they can bring about a genuine change, and they can do something positive. It's not just a gesture. It shouldn't be taken as a propaganda gesture. When I was appointed as the vice president in Iran, some people thought that President Khatami is just, he's making a gesture to show that he cares very much for the women's campaign, and that he's doing something in line of that. But it was a genuine decision to bring about change in the environment in Iran. And what is important is we see women in those levels of decision making actually doing something for the betterment of their societies and bringing about change. And this has been happening. This has been happening, and this indicates that the role of women in these societies is now appreciated much more, and they realize that having a woman at that level influences decisions positively and helps affairs to move ahead and to actually be able to mobilize societies. This was an issue that we had in dealing with the environment in Iran. I think that one of the areas where we had a success story was that we could mobilize the people, we could get the people on board to bring about changes in their lifestyles for improving the environment. And this is something that I think women can do better, because women are natural mentors, and they can influence public opinion through their ways, through their attitudes and their perspectives. So having a woman at that level, I think it can bring about a genuine change, and we can see that gradually coming. We still have a lot to do, and we still have a lot of obstacles, but we can see that coming.
Sure, thank you. And what do you think were the additional strengths you were able to bring to that role, being a woman, particularly in Iran?
I think an important factor was that the crucial issue that we have in dealing with societies today is a forward-looking approach, particularly in dealing with sustainable development issues. You need to have a forward-looking approach. Women, they tend to be looking forward for many reasons. One of that is being a mother. They always care more for the future of their children. They always think that, okay, what are these little children going to do in the future if our resources are depleted or if we pollute everything? That means that they think in an intergenerational manner. They think about the future generations as well. Whereas politicians sometimes, they're so engaged in the short time issues that they have so many emergency issues that they don't have that long-term perspective. They don't see the future. But women tend to see the future because they're dealing with children. They have them, in front of them every moment. And they feel that if they don't secure a future for these young people, for this young generation, then what are these people going to do? How are they going to fare in the future? How are they going to deal with their livelihoods? So this is, I think, a feeling, the sense of motherhood. This is a feeling that helps women very much in positions of leadership.
And what would you still like to achieve?
Personally, I think that I would like to be able to play a role a continuing role in my society with young people, dealing with young people, working with them at the different levels in society. I'm now a councillor in the Tehran City Council, and I'm dealing with a lot of social issues that we have in Tehran, the environmental issues, and I think that that's very important, working with people at different levels, at grassroots levels, and being able to get the message across and making sure that the young generation gets the message that there is a lot of hope, because in this region we have a lot of challenges, we have a lot of reasons for despair, and particularly the issue of war, armed conflict, terrorism, that affects our livelihoods, but more than that, it affects the livelihoods of our youth. And bringing that message of hope is, I think, the most important thing that we can do.
Absolutely. And what piece of advice from all your experiences could you offer to encourage women today?
The most important factor that all of us need is that self-confidence and that inner peace. What I mentioned here was an inner journey. We need to take that inner journey. We need to achieve an inner peace and equilibrium within us in order to be able to move ahead in life. And part of that leads to self-confidence, and that is very important. We have a very rich history and culture in this region, and most of that is stemming from Islamic teachings, and that gives us a lot of strength. And I think women in this region are now displaying their qualities, their capabilities, but also keeping with that Islamic culture, keeping with that the culture that we have, which provides us with a lot of inspiration and hope. But it's also important that we understand that Islam is very progressive on these issues, and it should be understood properly in that way.
Well, Dr. Ektebar is clearly an amazing woman. Join us after the break when we'll be talking to Mary Robinson, the ex-female president of Ireland.